Divorce is death. It's the death of the old life, but it's also a rebirth of you, a rebirth of new ways of living. Things are shifting, they're transmuting, that's all. You have everything within you to go through this change. Even when it feels like you don't, you really do. Hello, my beautiful women. Let's make sure that this mic works so we can have a good conversation without any interruptions. It works. We're gonna talk today about, in my opinion, the most important lesson that you can learn from your divorce, and that is how to deal with change in life. Change is guaranteed, right? And it is good to learn to move through change consciously. That's why I decided to title this Divorce Equals Death Plus Birth, because that's what it is. We die and then we are born again in a different version of us. And it's parts of us that are dying and parts of us that are born. The core of us remains the same. I'm gonna talk to you today about that process, how to make sure that you move forward consciously very, very well. But I'm also going to talk to you about what are the reasons that hold us back? Why is it that we don't just glide right through? I mean, some of you think that you do that, but you don't. Those of you that hopped into the next relationships, if you do not look in the back and analyze and look at the patterns, they're gonna repeat. Okay? They're gonna repeat. So, careful, senoritas. What we're gonna talk about today is, I'm gonna give you the 3 reasons why we struggle, because it's not like the process I'll be telling you about, something that they teach us in schools and that you knew, if you end up getting divorced, this is what you need to be doing. Nobody teaches us this, as they should, I think, to be honest. When you're going through a difficult transition in your life, this is what you should be doing. Don't you think that that should be a standard curriculum for our youth? As they are going through the process of transition, going from a child to becoming a teenager, super confusing, super difficult process, moments in life, extremely difficult. We should be teaching them how to do it, right? Anyway, that's why you want to take your divorce and you want to use it to learn how to transmute, transform on purpose. Death can be your servant. The transformation is happening anyway. It is. You're becoming a different human being. It can be on your terms, though, how it happens. And that's what I'm gonna talk to you about today. I'm gonna talk to you about 3 reasons why we struggle with moving on and how to move forward. I'm gonna give you the specific formula. I'm also gonna give you today questions. So again, my love, make sure to have a piece of paper, something to write with, so that you can write this down, and then when this video is over, write down the answers for you. Lots of really good questions. First and foremost, let's talk about why divorce is like death and birth. What is death? Death is a change. Death is an instrument of progress. Death is our protection against stagnation. If we didn't have death, we would not be moving forward. We would be spinning in circles. What is birth? Birth is becoming. Birth is taking the old and shifting it into something new, something really beautiful. I want you to think about what I'm gonna be talking about today like this. There's the old you over there and there's the new you over here, and I'm gonna talk to you about this. The process of going from here to here, kind of like a bridge. Some of you will start going on a bridge, but you will get stuck kind of over here. You will take a few steps. And some of you will run across the bridge thinking that you're actually I'm here, I'm in my new life. But you keep on dragging that behind you. So you haven't really moved, you haven't really transmuted, you haven't really moved forward fully. And you can tell. You can tell that by how you talk about what was over here. You can tell if you talk about it with peace in your heart and with sense of empowerment, or if this is the reason why this person over here really struggles today. Right? So that's this here either pushes you to move forward or you pull it behind you. I think that makes sense. Doesn't it make sense? I hope so. If it doesn't make sense, tell me in the comments. Makes sense to me. I try to simplify these concepts, señoritas, on purpose, because I want you to hear it once. I want you to understand it immediately and move forward with your life. That's why I explain things so simple. When we don't let go, when we get stuck in the very beginning of that bridge, we feel resentful. We don't have energy to move forward because we keep on thinking about what was behind us. And we fight with reality, by the way. We argue. He should have not left me. He should have never cheated on me. I had a plan for my life. Look at me now. You know, all of those kind of thoughts. That's what's gonna hold you in the pool of the past. I'm like, close it. That's what we're talking about death for today. Parts of your personality need to die. They need to die. And that's perfectly okay, because then you're going to have energy to create something new and beautiful and something that will be fitting for where you're going. I'm going to talk to you now about 3 reasons why change is scary and why we hold ourselves back. First of all, we have this deep fear of uncertainty, because after the divorce, which was like an atomic bomb, just exploded in the middle of the foundation of your life, that was not a safety producing event, was it? Right? It throws us off. If the whole foundation of my daily life has been shaken to its core, what else could happen? This world does not seem like such a safe place, right? I better stay put. I better stay small. I better don't have too big of dreams. I better hold on to what I know. That's where we get stuck, my love. And we get stuck because we're afraid of moving forward, because moving forward would create a sense of fear of uncertainty. And so what we need to do is we need to create certainty. How we create certainty? We ask ourselves, what can we be certain of? There are the macro elements of reality that you can be certain of, and the micro elements of reality. The macro elements. God is love. I can be certain that God is love. God was love yesterday, and God will be love tomorrow and a year from now. Now, here's a question to you. Has God become a different God to you as a result of your divorce? Were you supposed to be married forever and you now feel extreme guilt that you got divorced? You feel like you are less than in his eyes. You feel ashamed of what has happened. Or maybe you're angry at God. These are really, really good questions. And if any of them spark your curiosity about yourself, if you're like, oh, she's talking to me, answer these questions. Pause this video, answer these questions. It's importante. The relationship that we have with the divine is at the foundation of our lives. It determines how we exchange energy with the world. And so it is very important that you have that clear, if that has shifted for you or not. Because it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. Gosh, I feel like I'm preaching again. I'm trying not to preach, but I feel like I'm preaching. Oh, it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to move forward if you are not feeling safe exchanging energy, if you're not trusting the world, if you're not trusting yourself, right? Again, what can we be certain of in this reality? Like I said, macro elements and micro elements. Macro elements, that one I just told you, God is love. Yesterday, tomorrow, a year from now, 20 years from now. You can be also certain that when you wake up tomorrow morning and you go to the bathroom and you look at yourself in the mirror, it's gonna be you in the mirror, right? That's something that you can be certain of as well. I don't know how it is in your life, but for me, I know that law of karma is, and the law of balance, which are both very closely connected, they function in my life so good. My whole life. I know that if I mess up, I'm gonna get a slap in my face like, look what you did. Look what you did to this human. I'm gonna make you feel the same tripled so that you learn the lesson. That's how my life is. And I know that it's gonna be like this 10 years from now. Because that law has been functioning like that in my whole life. Same thing where it comes to the law of process. Law of process, so, not being able to get the results immediately, but you have to go through the process. That's gonna be functioning in my belief system forever. That's something I can be certain of. Same thing with the law of cycles, the law of responsibility. Right? The laws that are at the very foundation of our existence, they're going to be the same tomorrow. That's something that I can be certain of. That the very foundation of this reality will remain the same. The next reason why we struggle with change is because we have a hard time accepting what has happened. So how are you doing where it comes to that, where it comes to your divorce? Are you struggling moving forward? Because if you accept what has happened, it means that it's really, really over. Maybe somewhere deep inside your heart, you were hoping that he will come back. That your husband, after the divorce will realize what you really meant to him, how special your relationship was, how special your bond was, and that he will recognize it and be like, oh my gosh, she was the love of my life. I must have her back. What am I doing? Somewhere deep in your heart, there's still that hope. So if you were to accept that he really has moved on, that he's really engaged, that he has this new person in his life and great plans for his future, and you are really in the past for him and there's no chance of being together, if you were to accept that, that would mean even more pain. Because that would mean that it's really, really over. In those sort of situations, one of the very good things is to write down all your favorite memories that you have with your ex-husband. See that this is what you get to take. The love that was between you in those moments is yours. And you can always feel it where you read this list to yourself, when you think of that specific moment in life, those moments of happiness where you felt appreciated and seen by him. And it's gonna be bittersweet, and that's okay. It's supposed to be bittersweet. It's supposed to hurt. It's okay. It is bittersweet because there was love. But remember, my love, love is what you create in your heart. And you can always create it. The third reason why change is so scary, why we have a hard time letting go and moving on, is that we judge ourselves. We judge ourselves for what we have done. We judge ourselves for how the divorce went. We judge ourselves for how we were in a marriage and what we have done, what we haven't done. We judge ourselves for where we are at now. We feel like we should be, further ahead. Life should have been very, very different. We should have done very different things, very different choices. Many of you will judge yourself how you went through the transition period, what were the choices that you made in the transition period, things that we have said that we feel like we should have not have said, how we handled our pain, what we said about our spouse behind their back. For many of us, there's just so much that we could find to beat ourselves up. The more we do that, the harder it's gonna be to move forward, because when you're beating yourself up, you are literally weakening yourself. You are making yourself feel weak. How could you move on if that's what you're doing to yourself, If you are continuously attacking yourself, judging yourself, it's gonna be almost impossible to move forward. This is a great opportunity to become a friend to yourself, to see yourself as someone who is worthy, loving attention. So now we're gonna talk about how to move forward, how to honor this shift, and how to walk across that bridge. That's what this part of the video is about. Definitely take notes here, girls, because this is important. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that that bridge is safe, because change on its own is like, oh, can be so terrifying. So we need to find a place that is steady and unchangeable and safe within you. If you have never experienced that within you, if you have never meditated where you sit with yourself in silence and you pray and you connect to the light within and you feel that steadiness, the strength of your soul, the purity of that light that's within you, if you've never done that, it's going to be hard for you not to feel strong. The world is calm and steady in your soul, in your heart. Not in your mind, most likely, but deeper. You gotta go deep. You gotta go in those deep meditative states where everything is quiet and you can just be. Developing a practice where you connect to yourself on a daily basis and you feel yourself from within. You on purpose connect to that inner peace, connect to that calmness that is within you always, underneath the busyness of the mind, the ups and downs of emotions. Underneath all of that, there is a steadiness and peace inside of you. I strongly recommend, if you do not have meditation practice, develop it and combine your meditation with prayer. If you believe in God, if you're a praying person, combine those two. It's a very powerful way to go about it. So first of all, you want to create that safety in the change. Change seems like a very scary thing if we do not see ourselves as capable of moving through big changes in life. But the truth is, you've already navigated big changes. What needs to happen is you need to remind yourself that you have navigated big changes. And so one of the ways to do this is to draw a timeline of your life, okay? So you take a piece of paper. I'm going to show you mine because I did that when I was preparing, but it's kind of like this. If you notice, we have birth here, then we have like kindergarten, primary school, high school, college, moving to United States, marriage. I'm over here now. So basically what we're doing is we're writing the date of birth and then the day when we think we will die. I mean, you can give yourself as much time as you wanna. You can give yourself 100 years, 70 years, just like come up with a number. But basically what you do is you draw this line and then you place yourself today, but you also go to the past and you mark it. Okay, this is how long I was in high school. This is how long I was in college. This is how long I've been married. And then you recognize, okay, that was me, teenage years. That was me when I was a young woman. That was me when I was a wife. This is me as an ex-wife now. The whole point of it being is to show yourself that you are a person that has gone through changes and metamorphosis. I'm saying it wrong. Metamorphosis. I'm saying it wrong, I think. These changes, you know what I'm talking about. Like you go through changes. And they were not small changes. These were big changes. That's just the process of growth. And so nothing is over. This is a sequence in the process, okay? And your process of living. And yes, change is something that you've done. You can also look at your career. Look at all different jobs that you have had in the past, all different roles that you have taken on, different skills that you had to develop. That will also show you that you have already been changing a lot. But then we also can see that there are some things that remain the same, right? And that's important too, because to create a sense of safety in the process of change, we gotta see what is not changing. You know, kind of like I was telling you, like you look at yourself in the mirror, it's still gonna be you tomorrow. It's not gonna be a different person. That's remaining the same. I was thinking about my life and I was thinking about like, gosh, what's the same about me? What do I have in common with that, like, 5-year-old Evelinka when I was going to kindergarten? Like, what do we have in common? You know what we have in common? We can be bossy and controlling. This one over here is very much so aware of it and not so suppressed. The one over there, I think, had more suppression going on. But This one is very much so like, yeah, I know. I'm learning to let go. I'm learning to let people do what they want to do. It's a lifelong lesson. So even when I think about my future and I think about the challenges that might show up in my future, well, you know what? For the last 45 years, that's been something that's been a theme showing up in all different areas of my life. It's probably gonna continue. You know what I mean? That's another cool thing to see. Like, what are the things that you know already from the past that are gonna continue into the future and might be problematic for you? So now I'm gonna give you questions, and these questions are gonna help you reclaim your truth. Remember though, this process can be gentle. Some of you have really traumatic marriages behind you and really traumatic divorces. You need to be the judge. How fast you want to be moving through this process. How can you know? Well, you can ask yourself, am I ready for this? Am I ready to start letting go? What are the things that I could let go of? What do I still want to hold on to? When will I know that I am ready? What will have to happen? Some of you think that it's a matter of time, that you will know like January 1st, 2026 is when I'm gonna be ready. My love, don't lie to yourself. That's not how it happens. Time does not create internal changes within us. It's us who create those changes. And I want to invite you to do that consciously and on purpose. Don't hope that life will maybe push you into this direction or that direction and you will grow and you will heal. Why wait? This is your life. It's your soul, your personality, your self-awareness. You can be in charge of this process is what I'm telling you. And so let me give you some questions to get you going. So, of course, yes, we want to check in. Am I ready for this? What do I still want to hold on to? What am I ready to release? Why now is a good time to start releasing? Why would I want to wait? Is there benefit to waiting? Maybe you do want to wait. Maybe there is a benefit to waiting and I don't know about it. I'm giving you a question so that you can assess. Okay, the next question. Here's where we're gonna think about the elements of death. Because parts of you are dying, right? What is completed? What is ready to die? What is ready to go? What parts of my personality I am ready to let go of? In last video, I was talking to you about letting go of the good girl, the people pleaser, the one that would sacrifice herself. Well, maybe that's what you want to give up. Maybe you're ready to let her move on. But another way to also recognize it is just even looking at like, what did I used to do and I don't do anymore, right? When I was a wife, I used to do this and this and this and that. I no longer do that. You could get sad about it or you could get excited about the space and time and freedom that you have now. Okay? When we think about the ex-wife, we want to think about the qualities that she has shown in the marriage. We want to think about all the good stuff that she has given you, right? All the things that she has gone through, all the effort she has put forth, all the ways that she has tried saving that marriage, how hard she worked, how hard she believed, how loyal she was. We want to think about that. We want to think about all the good things that she has given us that we do not want to give up. If you think that the loyalty is something that you want to take with you, well, that part of your personality doesn't have to die. What you might want to take with you is a decision that you will self-examine your loyalty to. Because sometimes we become blindly loyal. Life is showing us over and over and over that there's a change that's needed. But we're like stubborn in our loyalty. We're like, oh, this is gonna work because I decided it's gonna work, but it doesn't. So take a look at what it is that part of you, the wife that is going away, that's kind of dying. What has she given you that you wanna take forward? What you do not wanna change? about you that she has given, developed? What are the things that you're like, oh yeah, that self-sacrificial behavior, the being silent when I actually want to speak my truth, betraying myself, self-abandoning, I want to give that up, right? That I am happy to let go of. I'm excited to let go of the parts of me that are so convinced that I must people please for my own safety. I'm excited to let them go. Is there anything that you are excited to let go of? Excited to let die? So now let's talk about the questions related to birth, because we have the death related questions. You have the birth. Who is being born? Who is being born? You have to take in consideration whom did you have to become to survive your divorce. What kind of skills you had to develop to be able to go through it. I'm talking about grit and determination and this sense of like, I'm gonna figure it out no matter what, I'm gonna figure it out. When you're ready, you also want to think about your future and who is the person that you actually wanna give birth to, right? So you know how I was telling you that, like, I know when I was 5, I was controlling. I'm 45. Still controlling. But when I'm 46 and 47 and so on, it would be nice to have more of this sense of surrender and this ability to just kind of just let go, let people be whom they are, circumstances be what they are. I just have this like, it's okay. I can relax. I can take 20 deep breaths. You know? So, what are some qualities that you know are part of your personality, that you know that you have been carrying on with you throughout your whole life, and maybe the one that you are creating and giving birth to, or maybe it's gonna be easier for her to live if she is already beyond that, if she's already developed different ways of dealing with certain situations, right? And for example, she has it, this hair is gonna drive me crazy. If she has it easier to move on and let go. Going through that bridge is a process. How can you tell if it's working, if you're actually really moving forward? A bunch of things are gonna happen. It's gonna start feeling lighter in your heart. It's gonna feel like it's easier for you to settle. It's easier for you to breathe. It's easier to just trust. It's easier to have hope. It's easier to dream. It's easier to be like, oh, this could happen or that could happen, or I always wanted to do this. I actually could do that. When you start thinking like that and not so much thinking about what's already behind you, that's when you can tell that you're making progress, but also just like how you feel within yourself. In mind that you are loved, you are protected, you are held in this world by forces that are seen and unseen. A beautiful exercise to give yourself is to write down all the ways how God or life, like if you don't believe in God, then just write down about life, but like how God has been supporting you in life, how life has been supporting you from the moment you were born until today. Write that list of everything that was given to you. Parents, safety, food to eat every day throughout your whole life, teachers that taught you, books, clothes, money. It's a beautiful exercise to do, beautiful thing to write for yourself. Remember that within your heart there is wisdom of your soul that is immortal, that goes beyond time. So everything that you really need is within you, it's within your soul. And in the stillness that I was talking about earlier today, when I was telling you to connect to the core of you, where everything is steady and calm, that's where those answers are. The answers are really all within you. You just gotta quiet, calm the mind to feel them, hear them. And remember this thing, you do not have to apologize to anyone for changing, for moving on. Oh, your mom thinks that you should have never divorced your ex-husband. She gets to think that and you get to move on. Both things can be possible and true. And you get to move on. Even if she has those thoughts in her head, you have every right to keep on living any way you want to. The ultimate form of closure is how you live your life. It's the future that you create. That's your closure. We have to allow ourselves for this death so that our story, that future, can really get juicy and good and amazing. You will deal with different forms of death in your future. That is guaranteed. There will be people dying, people being born, and you yourself will be going through that process of becoming and dying and becoming. In those processes, in the pain of that death, that's where the greater and greater light of your soul has a chance to come through. Darkness cannot touch it. That's why we want to embrace divorce as death and learn this process of transmutation, of transformation on purpose, so that you become a person that is excellent, that is a master of change. You have a chance to experience this reality from different points as you keep on shifting as a human being, as you keep on changing and transmuting on purpose. For those of you who do not want to go through this process alone and you would like to have someone that takes you across the bridge, reach out to me. That's what I can help you do. What I'm teaching you, I feel like that's completed in my life. But that's the thing about life, is that like this process of dying and being born again and the shifts that are happening inside of us as we consciously keep on growing, it's never gonna end. And so I am going through my own processes of transmutation a lot. Like it feels like constantly. That's why I want to help you, because I understand that it can be very, very scary. And at the same time, that is literally the ticket to freedom. That's the ticket to your next better life. To learn how to transmute that heaviness and turn it into light. Literally light and energy. You can work with me one-on-one. I have a 6-month program where we start with closure, closing the old chapters, really going through that process of conscious death. And then we get to know you today, who you are, this new person that is being born. And from this point of knowing whom she is, we get to create a new future for her. Okay? Okay. I will put a link to my website where you can schedule a 15-minute call with me. I'll put that in the comments so you have a way of getting a hold of me. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about the information I shared with you today? Do you feel like you have truly gone through this big process of change? And what it's been like for you? Please tell me. I would love to hear your story in the comments. I know that it can be a very, very lonely road, because how many, right, of us are surrounded by people who don't understand? If you have a girlfriend or a sister, any woman in your life where you feel like she needs this information, please share this video with her. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.